Howdy, and welcome back to Communiwhat, or as I'm starting to kind of say it around the place here, Communiwhat. This is the place where we talk real communication. We take communication breakdowns and we try to fix them. And the last time we talked about number 2 in the Communiwhat framework, and that was context. And today we're going to be talking about clarity. But just to review, what are the 5 step framework for clear communication? Communiwhat framework starts with number 1, intent. Why am I communicating this? Number 2, context. What do they need to understand this correctly? And number 3, which is today, clarity. Have I made this simple and actionable? Number 4, confirmation. And number 5, control. Am I leading in this moment, or am I just reacting to it? So, Communiwhat. For those of you that don't know what Communiwhat is, and this is your first time, this is a camera shot from April of 2010. I had been in a meeting and was given a directive in that meeting for some reporting, and I left that meeting and I did everything I needed to do, so I thought, and I returned with this packet of information and was told this is not what I needed. And then to find out there was another individual that was provided the exact same task and two provided something that was not needed. And so I went angrily back to my desk as a new supervisor. I sat down and had my whiteboard and I scribbled in red communication, like so angrily. I work for a telecommunications company and we're not doing communication. I don't know what we're doing, but we're not. And I scratched out cation. What is this? Scribbled what? Communiwhat. That's what this is. When you leave the conversation and you think, what just happened? that is Communiwhat. Everything just falls apart completely, right? So here's the truth, right? Most leaders, when they are speaking, make some assumptions and they believe that they are clear simply because they're the leader. Everyone should know what place I'm coming from for context and such. But communication is not measured by what you are saying. It's measured by what people are actually understanding and are able to act upon. Yeah. So those two very different things. And think about how often you, in your place of business, hear this or have said this, right? Handle this quickly. You need to do a little better with this. Can we tighten this up a little bit? I mean, me as a people leader absolutely have said those very things many times. Those sound like direction, but it's not. It's left to interpretation. Interpretation. Oh, yeah. Doing better. What does that mean? Tightening up. How tight? Let's handle it quickly. What does that really look like? That sounds like direction, but it's not. It's interpretation that will lead to inconsistency. Now, you got different people doing different things, and they're all believing they did exactly what you asked. And that's not a performance issue, right? That's a clarity issue. Clarity answers questions before they get asked. If you've heard me on my 1 Minute Win podcast or spent any time with me, clarity is kindness. It is a quote from Brene Brown, and I utter it every day, no doubt, 5 times, a lot of times to myself. Clarity is kindness. It's a clarity issue. Clarity answers questions before they're asked. They ask those questions like what needs to happen by when, and what does success actually look like? Those sorts of things, that's clarity. And when clarity is missing, there's going to be 3 things that are going to pop out immediately: confusion, frustration, and back to the drawing board, right? Rework. So the 1 Minute Wins podcast, I most of the time give 4 steps to kind of make this applicable today. How do we focus on that and make this real? Well, today we got 5. We got 5 steps to break down clarity. Number 1, while clarity sounds simple, there is a vagueness that occurs in the very beginning of the conversation. You must define the outcome. Define the outcome. Most people start with, I need you to do this report. Clarity says, we're going to start with the outcome first. Not work on this or handle this, but this is what I need done. This is what it looks like complete. An example, instead of saying, improve your response time. Say you've got a queue of tasks that your employee is having to manage and work through, right? I need you to improve your response time. It needs to be under 30 seconds and you're at, 58. Okay, that is a little better. Now let's try it a third way. We need all emails responded within 24 hours. I'm trying to think of any place that could be misunderstood. No, that's pretty clear. That's clear. And what does that do to somebody? That puts inside of them, I know what the end is. Now, I'm going to have to figure out how to get there, and maybe my boss can help me. But I know what the end is. I already know what the goal is. I already know. I can envision it. I can see it. It's this report, or it's under 24 hours. Number 2. Let's go back. I missed this. When you can begin by defining the outcome, then they're going to know what it looks like to win. If they don't know what winning looks like, then they can't win. I'm assuming every person that hears this wants their employees and wants their peers to win, right? Because success, especially partnered success, there's nothing greater than that. But if they don't know what winning looks like, how can they win? Remove any vague language. That's number 2. Kill words like soon, better, quickly, I need this ASAP. those words, they feel clear to you as you're expressing them, but they're not clear to anyone else. There's too much subjectivity involved in soon, ASAP, tighten this up, circle back. All of that is it's garbage for clarity, right? Vague language will absolutely create vague results every time. Number 3, when, how, and how much. Clarity lives in the specifics: time, quantity, standard. It's not get it done soon, right? It's have this completed by Thursday afternoon. Specificity removes anxiety. Specificity, I can't say that word, removes hesitation, right? I can tell you straight away, as when I was a technician, an on the phone agent technician, anytime I was provided hey, there's this issue and you got to figure it out, we know what the end game looks like. That was exciting. I was given this frame of time. I was given what the end goal was, and I was given the freedom and autonomy to fix it how I felt. Love that stuff. But there was clarity in that directive. I knew what the end should look like. I knew what the network should look like, those settings or the network. I can't. All of the different levels. There we go. Network levels, noise ratios, all of that sort of thing. And I would not have any angst. I would not have any hesitation. I would know exactly what I needed to do, and I would go. Is it actionable? Number 4, make what you're saying actionable. Is it something that can be acted upon immediately? And here's kind of the litmus test for this. Can someone take action the moment you finish speaking? If not, you're not clear. Here's an example of a bad communication. Let's improve communication. How do we do that better? Start each meeting by outlining the top 3 priorities. So we can start a meeting by saying, let's improve communication, or we can start that by saying, let's start each meeting by outlining our top 3 priorities. We're already establishing intent. We're already going through the Communiwhat process, right? But in number 4, making this actionable, start each meeting this way. If someone has to interpret what you're saying, assume they're going to misinterpret. What? Yeah, absolutely. Someone should never have to guess what the messaging is. Someone should never have to try to figure out what you're really trying to say. Clarity, Brene Brown, clarity is kindness. Number 5, check for execution readiness. Not understanding hurts execution. And this is where clarity connects to confirmation, right? But it starts here. Here's how you can ask that. Can you walk me through what your next steps are? So when you provide a directive, follow it up immediately with, can you walk me through what you're going to do next? They may understand your words, but they still may not be ready to execute. Clarity is proven through that action, right? That's the result. Not agreeing, yes, I understand. That's not execution. What happens? What's the end game? Clarity is proven through that action and execution, not just agreement. So what are the 5? How do we do this? Number 1, define the outcome. And what was the example? All emails responded within 24 hours. Remove the vague language. Number 2, we're using words like what? Not words, soon, better, quickly, right? Vague language creates vague results. Number 3, set the specific target. Clarity lives in specifics. We're going to say specificity removes hesitation, right? Number 4, let's make it actionable, right? Can someone take action the moment you finish speaking? If they cannot, you are not clear. And number 5, check for execution readiness. Clarity is proven through that action and execution, not just the agreement. So let's kind of bring this all together, right? Clarity is not about saying more. It's about removing any confusion. It's about defining the outcome and then removing any vague language, right? Make it actionable, check for the execution. And if you do that, you're going to eliminate most communication problems before they even start. So let's apply this to kind of another real situation, right? So I, in another life, worked for a telecommunications company. And in that telecommunications company, many departments were permeable with our department. We had to speak with, while we were end user support, we had to work directly with engineers. We had to work directly with field technicians. We had to work directly with the clients, which were high-end fiber optic customers, large grocery stores, hotels, etc. And the way in which our agents would communicate to, we'll just use these 3, there were many more, but these 3 different teams was different. They had to learn that just because they say X, Y, and Z to the client, you can't say just X, Y, and Z to the field tech. The field tech needs to understand what's in between the X and the Y and what's in between the Z and the Y. And then our engineers in the NOC, right? They needed to know, we need to know about ABC. I don't even need to know about XYZ. And so using this example, we know that 1, the same issue has to be communicated in 3 different ways. The resolution, once confirmed, has to be confirmed in 3 different ways. Communication's a lot of work. I know that. You know that. But people don't fail at communication, and people don't fail in their work because they don't care, right? They fail a lot of times because they don't know exactly what success looks like. The shift that has to happen is, instead of saying respond faster, you say respond to all emails in 24 hours. Instead of saying handle this quickly, you say I need this completed by Thursday afternoon. It's the same intent, but it's different clarity. And that clarity will create confidence in the people you're communicating with. When people know exactly what to do, they're going to move faster. They're going to move better. They're going to move in a team together, aligned. And that's the part that a lot of people kind of miss. That clarity is not necessarily about adding more words. It's about removing confusion. It's not about complexity. It's precision. So here's the challenge today. Where are you being vague and calling it communication? Where are you leaving room for interpretation? Now, I'll step real quick. Hold on. Leaving room for interpretation and expecting alignment. Leaders know there's no growth in just regurgitation, right? You're not just going to tell them, go do this, go do this, go do this. People, ourselves, relationships, everything need some autonomy so we can fail, so we can grow, so we can be better. But then that needs to be on the individual. That doesn't need to be on the leader. The leader's responsibility is to provide clarity, vision, goals, etc. The employee takes all of that, and hopefully it's done in a way that is how we're trying to teach. And then that individual can be successful and have the autonomy to go out and learn and grow, fail, grow. But if you're being too vague and calling it communication and leaving way too much room for interpretation, then it goes off the rails and that individual will never be successful, ever. There would not be alignment. That gap right there, that's Communiwhat. That is what this show is about. If you want better results, it's not about saying more. It's about being clear. Clarity, thank you, Brene Brown. Clarity is kindness. Communication is not what you say, it's what's understood and what is actionable. Communicate with attention, create alignment, drive results. And as always, thank you for being here today. And always remember, be the example.